Who's the person you're about to interview? To give her an introduction.
Well,
This is what that is you then.
she's the ultimate, the ultimate DJ. I love this. Oh yeah. I just don't want her to get an advantage over me. You know me.
Oh, wow. Okay, camera's rolling.
Okay. Now, could you please introduce yourselves to the lovely audience?
I am Disemela Lesotho. I am known to the public as Lady D.
Yeah, okay guys. Now, as a radio DJ, what would you say are your main challenges day to day like? I mean, today's this thing, tomorrow's the next, tomorrow's the next. Because I, as a listener, I'm just thinking everything's like this, the top of your fingers. So, what kind of challenges do you manage?
I probably think that the main challenge is getting stories, real stories from the people. Because oftentimes, we are based in fact, all the time, we're based at Maseru Central, right?
Yeah.
And yet, Lesotho is so big. There are stories happening out there, and we miss out on those stories because we are where we are. That's my personal challenge.
Okay. Now, we come to my favorite subject.
Okay.
Gender equality. What do you think about that?
I need a moment to think about that.
Okay.
I think that we are equal, but I think that the whole concept of gender equality has been stretched in all the wrong directions in this country, I think.
Oh, here comes my partner in crime, but not mind him.
I think that it would be nice if men and women would be empowered as opposed to just women being empowered.
Exactly what I've been saying.
And I think that with those women that are empowered, that the men who are in powerful positions should not pull them down. They should continue to empower them, because it honestly feels like, for me, that we're just trying to meet standards, and if we've met that standard, it ends at that.
Okay. My third question: do you think the standard of gender equality in the international community and our standard is Basotho, they measure up to each other? Because a person in London will say, a woman can do this, a man can do that, a woman can do this, depending on whatever that thing is. But, as we know as Basotho, tradition dictates certain roles that should be done by this sort of person, and tradition dictates this role should be done by this sort of person. So what do you think? Where do we balance tradition and gender equality?
I don't like using the word tradition very much because it's not so versatile. I like culture. And that way I can escape by saying, our culture is changing. Slowly but surely, but it is changing. And the tendency was that, men had roles and women had roles. But nowadays we see people changing. And while I appreciate that we are comparing ourselves with the international world, I also recognize that we have our own world, our own way of doing things, our own pace of doing things, and we should appreciate that.
Okay. This brings me to my fourth question. How do you measure wealth?
How do I measure wealth?
Yeah. Minus material stuff. I know we all like those.
Oh, so you're not saying whether I consider myself wealthy if I have a train?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, you'll find that the international community, the way internet is spreading, though, because I think in the next 5 years, internet will be considered as a need and not as a necessity.
Okay.
But here in Lesotho, in the old days, a man would say, I have my cattle, I have my sheep, my children are fed, my family's happy, and I'm happy. But nowadays, we have all those additions that are considered to be necessities.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
Well, we do live in a technological world, very technological, and therefore we do need to be technologically conversant. Yes?
Yes.
I think that we can get as much internet as we can get. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't think that internet has anything to do with wealth. I don't think it has anything to do with wealth. Just like education, I think that you need education whether or not you're wealthy, you know, and that's my take on the matter. We need to, in as much as we'd love to stay here and not know anything about the international world, but we live in a global world.
Okay, this brings me back to my favorite question. As the youth, you'll find that we're more interested in what Beyonce does, what Jay-Z is wearing, what car they're driving, and yet you find that most of our traditions and knowledge are being lost with the older generation. You'll find that an old lady is very, very talented in weaving baskets that we can use for like storing our computers, our CDs. I mean the technological stuff that we use. And you'll find that a young girl in Lesotho who didn't care less about basket weaving, they'll say, Mushas is dead and gone. So what would you say to those people?
I think that's a very challenging question. Could we skip it?
No.
Okay. I think that obviously we have our own, and again I'm choosing to use the word culture as opposed to tradition. I think we have our own culture that we should embrace, obviously. But there's nothing wrong with recognizing different cultures as well. There's nothing wrong with recognizing that this is what Beyonce does and this is what Jay-Z does. However, I think that we also need to empower ourselves as Lesotho to really appreciate what we have, because my colleagues and I were talking about how we've got such rich culture and how we are so intelligent and how we're so skilled and how we can do all that, and yet we are not living the life that actually shows that we have all that.
Okay, that's my final part. What can you say? The corner.
Apparently you're the partner in crime. Are you going to hammer me as well?
Ultimate Lady D, Le Rendezvous, hello! Ultimate Radio 98.9. Yes. I can't believe this. Would you like to change positions where I'm sitting?
Wait, Christopher felt it would be more real with people coming and going, so he chose a spot deliberately. In case you're wondering, filmmaker.
I just like it that everybody's wearing red.
Wow, even Mamela.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like our colors.
Your color? My color.
Everybody's color.
Eh, sorry.
What's funny? Because in other well-established stations, ho tla ba le a music presenter, ho be le a programs person, ho be le, you know, and then there's the presenter, which is the voice that you hear. But not personally, I produce my own show, which means I have to walk out into the streets and find information. I produce my own music, which means there's nobody bringing me music. I have to go out and get music on my own. And I also present, which means I'm the voice that you hear on radio.
la kwa sepheo se sang o le swetsa radio e ne le
That's a tricky one because kisitswe radio ke ntate Modimo. I didn't choose that career. I was actually accompanying a friend who wanted a job there. But obviously if God has a purpose for you, he'll land you there.
Yeah.
I got the job, my friend got another job, so yeah, I don't think I didn't consciously make a decision that I want to become a radio presenter. No.
Yeah, le netse ntse ke batla le swetsa radio
Okay.
at school.
Okay.
So I see I ke na putso tse ngata ka nnete jalo. Thank you.
Wa tla mphoqa
Ne o bona ho le bala. Ho le school mo wala ka. Wani.
Yeah.
Ona ntse tse ngata.
That's a wrap. I don't know if my partner has anything, but
Can I go now?
yes.
Am I
may.
off the hot seat? Thank you.
Wow, it went.